Hey folks, welcome back. Alright, so we got this 1972 Chevy El Camino in here. The fuel gauge, when we first filled it up, it was on empty, filled it up, and it went up to full. But it's never since left that position. So based on that symptom, figuring out, the troubleshooting and all that stuff for this, we're gonna have to just drop the tank and go from there. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, so I found I can get access to the wiring pretty easy on this car. So we're going to test everything, the gauge and all that stuff before we do anything. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to turn the key on. You can see our gas gauge going clear up there to full. And then I'm going to show you. Okay, this wire right here, pretty sure has got to be going to the sender. And it just unplugs here. Alright, I'm pretty sure we're going to find out that, this doesn't change, but anyways, we got a jumper wire right here, and we're going to go and just go from ground, and then we're going to, let me get two hands. Okay, just hooked it on the end there, got it looped around over to ground. See, now the gauge is down there at reading it empty. So that's pretty much how they work. It sends a signal out there, and if it goes straight to ground without any resistance, that's what it reads. But as the float moves up, the resistance gets greater and greater and greater to where it's almost open, and then that's when it'll read full. But it shouldn't read really way above full like it is now. So that's pretty much what we got going on, is we pretty much have an open sender or a stuck float. But anyhow, what we'll go ahead and do is we'll unhook that set of wiring there. I might see if I can, no, I don't think I can leave this camera positioned in here at all, but we are up in the air at the moment. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and we'll just unplug that, and then okay, unplug that, right back up in here. And our gauge floating back up to the top. So confirmed our gauge works. Okay, so we're gonna leave that wire unhooked, and then we're gonna come in here. We've got these two fuel lines here. And then I don't know what we have all of these for exactly. We're gonna have this one we're gonna have to take off. The rest of these can kind of go down with the tank. What kind of is a bummer about these tanks is it's got this, usually instead of just being like a hose or something that comes down here, basically, this tank just kind of has to, you got to undo these straps, by removing these bolts here. And then, but this tank's gonna have to kind of go like this to get out of there, and then we don't know exactly how far it's going to drop down as far as the rest of these hoses or anything else. But with these off and this one off, and now that wire unhooked, we should be able to get it dropped out of there. And there's nothing on this car, there's nothing obstructing that, so that just come right with it. So yeah, it's really not too bad to do. Okay, so with the tank out, this is that wire we were dealing with before. This is a ground wire that was screwed up into the top here in the frame. Oh, it was right there. It's a cross member for the bed. And then I don't know, all three of these had these fuel lines on here. I don't know what this particular thing does. It's not a pump or anything, it's a vent or anything, something like that. I really don't know, but I'm sure it has something to do with venting the tank or doing something or other. But once I figure that out, I'll let you know. As far as getting this sender out of here, you can just get like a punch or a screwdriver or something like that and tap it and just turn this lock ring off of here. Okay, once you do that, get it far enough where it'll pop out of there. this is really all we're dealing with. And we don't have a stuck float. We just have, and all of this stuff for this deal all just came off. So we're gonna be replacing the tank anyways because of this. This was the first. This had a crack in it, and then it must have had another crack down below it that got worse when I started maneuvering it out of here. But I knew this crack was in here before we even started because they had JB weld over the top of this, and it all just chipped off. If you got too smooth of a surface, that JB weld doesn't have anywhere to grip to. So anyways, this is the sender here, and we can test it versus the new one and get it, see what happens. All right, so we got this red deal plugged into on the terminal, you know, where that wire went, and we got the other side just grounded to the base here. You know, see how it's down, but no matter what position we put it in, it doesn't change. You take and you put this onto, oh come on, there we go, that. Got 3.5 ohms, about 90, 91. Went back down to 3. So that's kind of what we're getting at is you know, an open circuit on here is going to make your gauge read as far full as it can. So obviously, you know, it should be calibrated enough. I mean, that should make the gauge read. You know, you can go ahead and, you know, put this thing in here, get your tank started up and get the wire hooked on, and you can test and make sure, you know, that, or not get this on, but I mean, get it, you can go and hook this thing up, you know, to the wire up there. You know, we might as well just do that, and then you know, that way we make sure that this thing reads like it's supposed to before we do anything. All right, so now I know this looks kind of funky, but it's kind of how it is in the tank. But obviously it's not, you know, we're missing the tank, but I got this grounded up here to where it was, and then this wire connected back to where it was. So right now, you know, this should be reading empty, and then this will move up to full. So we'll go up into the car. All right, hopefully this won't be too hard to see. I'm gonna go down there and move that float up and down. They're slow, so we're gonna have to just take some time, especially going to the full. But yeah, that was just me. I was just moving this up and down as far as its travel goes. You know, you can see that the float, as far as its travel goes, about what level it would be. you know, relative to the top of the tank, so that way you've got a little bit of room so you don't be overfilling your tank. But now it's just a matter of getting that sender put back down, not for us, not in this tank, because we're replacing it, but then getting the tank, you know, situated back up, and we'll get these lines hooked up how they were. Like I said, I don't know what this does, but it's got something to do with some kind of a venting system or something. These are all relatively new fuel lines, but I don't know. Well, I'm just going to end the video right here, just because we're going to have to wait for a tank to get here and everything. Even though this car had a return line, you know, in that sender and all that, and even the new one that I got with a return line in anticipation that we might put a fuel injection system in this thing in the future. But this car doesn't actually use that return line. So basically right now, all I did was just hook this hose, and I just ran it right up to the bigger fuel line right there. And so then the regular pump on the engine, it's a mechanical pump this thing still has, is just drawing it out of this gas can right now, just so I can move this car around if I need to, especially getting it off my lift so I can get other stuff going and whatnot. So hopefully that helped you out, mostly just about, like, you know, troubleshooting and this, that, and the other. So it is a lot easier doing these tanks and any of that kind of stuff when they're pretty close to empty. This one was pretty full, and that's how I think I got that other crack started a lot bigger. But what can you do? We're getting a new tank, so when we put the new one in there, it'll be empty, and we'll stick it in there and get that sender and all that stuff done. And these gauges, you know, the wiring circuit, all that stuff's pretty simple. You know, if you don't have anything going on, you're gonna have to trace wires back up to your dash and figure that out, you know, if your gauge isn't working itself. So hopefully this helped you out. Thanks for watching.